Good morning. My name is Mark Cour. I am your funeral friend. You'll find me on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Pinterest under My Funeral Friend. I hope everybody finds this useful on what to do at a funeral. I know that people have a lot of questions always when I tell them I'm a funeral director. They always have something to ask me, and it's quite interesting, some of the questions. But anyway, the reason why I'm here today is to talk to you about the funeral of Boyd K. Packer. He is a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and so am I. I am proud to say that. I love him and will miss him and his talks. I have had the opportunity to meet him, well, not meet him, but been to his house. I met his wife, Donna, one time. I was lost. I was a garbage man, and I got lost in their neighborhood, and I was looking for a particular address, and their house kind of matched that address. So I stopped and walked up to the door, knocked on the door, and right before somebody answered, the placard on the door said the home of Mr. and Mrs. Boyd K. Packer, and I kind of freaked out because it was Boyd K. Packer's home, home of the 12 apostles. So anyway, Donna came to the door. She invited me. I asked her if this was Boyd K. Packer's home, the Boyd K. Packer, and she says yes. He is my husband. He's at the temple today, but she invited me in anyway. No matter how I was dressed like a garbage man. I was wearing garbage man clothes. It was right around Christmas time. There's snow on the ground. They had an nativity scene in their front yard, and it was a beautiful home. She showed me all his artwork that he had done, the carvings, the paintings that he made. I seen the one about the bishop and the plow, the empty plow, and he talks about how the bishop left the plow in the middle of the field so he could go and take care of members. So I got to see all that. That was right after that talk. It was about 12 years ago, 10 or 12 years ago I've seen that. And it was quite interesting. I had quite a time with her. She showed me everything in the house, and then she allowed me to use her phone so I could call my office and get the address straight. But anyway, that's just some background on what I know about President Boyd K. Packer. Some things you need to know before a funeral gets started. All the things you just see the thing that's happened, the funeral that happens on TV. You don't get to see all the back story to set all that up, to see how the beautiful casket is picked out, and does everybody get the same casket? You have your choice of several different caskets ranging from wood to metal. You can also get biodegradable caskets that are quite interesting, but in this case they did pick a nice wood casket. I'm assuming it is a walnut, I think is what it was, or I don't think it's a mahogany. I didn't see the make very well, but it is a beautiful casket, and it represents a beautiful man. When you are picking out a casket, they're all different prices. They range anywhere from you can go as high as $20,000 and all the way down to probably around $1,000 for the least expensive one. Now, when you're choosing a funeral, the traditional funeral like Boyd K. Packer, that's a traditional funeral, but a lot of people nowadays choose cremation. And you can still have the same kind of service with a cremation. You just need to tell them that you want a service with the body present, and then they'll accommodate you. A funeral director will accommodate you on that. I've had a lot of fun planning services. Families have different ideas about what they want done. They want rock and roll music played at some of them, and some of them they want their traditional church music, and which is all fine, I think. I'm more of a traditionalist. I like the traditional funeral, the honor that it gives the person who dies. That's what I like to see, that you respect and honor those people who have passed away. The neat thing about this funeral was that when they started the video, they showed him coming up the street on North Temple They were coming down from Larkin Mortuary. I don't know if anybody's been to Salt Lake City, but they come. It's down going from east to west on North Temple Street there, and then they turn to Temple Square. And as they're turning in Temple Square, you'll notice they go around the planters there, and they go around them, and then they go all the way around the tabernacle and come up the backside. And the reason why they do that is so that they don't have to turn vehicles around. They do have 4 limos following them. And when they get everything parked, you'll hear them park it, and then the funeral director gets out of the coach. He's the one that drives the coach. He'll get out, and he'll open up the back door, and he'll release the brake on it, like it's a little, it holds the casket in place. He'll take that out, put it in its place inside there. You don't really get to see that much, but then he'll wait. They'll sit there and wait for a long time, and what they're doing is they're waiting for the crowd to gather, get everybody inside that is supposed to be inside, like the quorum of the 12 apostles and stuff will go line up on either side of the entryway. And then they're waiting for the families all to get out of the cars so that they can take President Packard into the tabernacle. As they're sitting in there waiting, you'll see the funeral director call over. I'm assuming she's the flower person. She's the one that he calls over, and she kind of he gives her some last minute instruction. The funeral director is in charge of everything that happens with the mortuary part of it. He's probably the one that embalmed President Packard. He's probably the one helped dress him. The family dressed him, I'm sure, but he was probably there through most of it, helping them through every step of the way. And he's the one that everybody goes to get direction. So he will tell the flower girl what he wants. He will tell the pallbearers what they need to do. He will tell all his employees what to do. And he'll also tell the family what needs to happen. The family listens to him. He is the one that's going to make what they want happen. So he is the man. He is the center of attention in some ways. But if he's a good funeral director, he'll avoid that attention and kind of place it back towards the individual who passed away. And he does a very good job of that by just allowing the family to do what they need to do and helping them get there. And he's also the one that keeps everything on time. He's very mindful of the time and the clock. And most LDS services, they want nowadays to end in an hour and 10 minutes. And I'm pretty sure President Packard's didn't last much over an hour. And they were on their way out of there going to the cemetery. But when you watch it, you'll see him talk to the flower lady, and then he goes back and he organizes the pallbearers. He gets 4 pallbearers on each side, and then he has the one in the back side. And then you'll see a guy standing on the side of the coach, on the opposite side of the coach from the funeral director, which will be on the far side of the coach, the funeral coach. And he's the one that brings out the church truck, and that's the metal thing, the wheel with the wheels on it that the casket is placed on. And you'll see him put that down, and then they'll do some adjusting to it, turn the wheel so it doesn't get away from them when they're bringing out the casket. And then you'll see the pallbearers move forward. He'll call the pallbearers up, and they'll get close in there, and he'll pass the they'll grab a hold of the handles and pass it to the guy next to them as the casket comes out, and then they'll bring it and put it on the church truck. And they'll make sure it's placed evenly, that it's distributed properly, so that the weight is distributed properly, so that they could make sure it doesn't tip or fall or do something crazy as they're taking it into the church. I know that sometimes people are ask questions, which way does the casket come out of the coach or the hearse? And in this case, the casket did come out head first. You'll notice the funeral director will turn the casket around, turn it the other way. He'll bring it back towards him, and then he'll push it into the church with a guy leading the way. That is to help that every church, well, the Catholic tradition is you bring the casket in feet first, so that they could, if they were going to stand up, they would stand up and face the altar. That's why most of the time funeral directors will bring them caskets in feet first. The only time they don't bring it in feet first is if it's a priest in the Catholic tradition, but most funeral directors are very traditional and they'll bring the casket in feet first. In this case, they did bring him in feet first. They did put the flowers on him. Those flowers, they're called the casket spray. You'll notice it's two pieces. Not in most cases they're not. They're normally just one big piece. But in this case they built two pieces so that it'll cover the whole casket. It is a beautiful casket spray, beautiful flowers. If you notice on the altars, on the stand, they have a lot of the flowers to match them. That way they look like a part of the service, like the family ordered everything there, which they probably did. As the funeral goes on, they talk about him. That's the difference between the LDS faith and most other faiths, is that they'll talk about the individual. They'll tell stories. They'll laugh. They'll cry. They'll say things about the individual that sometimes are inappropriate but funny. But it's part of our tradition as LDS people to just talk about the person. They also do talk about religious stuff, about the plan of salvation. They always make sure to mention that in there, about what happens in our life, where we came from, what we're doing here on earth, and where we're going to at the end of our lives. And we also believe that families can be sealed together forever in the temples, and that's what we believe. That's part of our belief, is that we can be together forever, sealed to the same person for time and all eternity, is what we call it. And we also get to have our children around us if we all live in that way. The service goes on. You hear all the speakers, and I hope you listen to it all, because it's a beautiful tribute to President Packer. At the end of the service, you'll notice the guy comes up at the end and says, "Everybody stands." Standing is the honor and respect of the individual who has passed away. It's the last act of honor that you can do for that person. That's why they have everybody stand up, to honor the deceased. And as the family, and also the family leaves, they bring the casket out and they place it behind the coach, and then you'll see the pallbearers pick the casket up and place it inside the coach. The family will then go and get in the limousines, the immediate family. You see some of the people go down, like behind the tabernacle, go in a different door. I think that leads to the parking lot to across at Temple Square. I think a lot of the family parked over there. So they're probably parked over there, and then they're walking over there, or they had those little carts that fit in the tunnels that they will take them to the golf court carts. But the immediate family gets in the limousines, and then as they leave Temple Square, you'll see how beautifully they just leave out, and all the cars, the 4 cars, follow the coach as they leave Temple Square. You'll see the police officers stop traffic, and then that's kind of where the video ends. Then they headed up to Brigham City, and that's where they do the graveside. At the graveside, I didn't go to it, I didn't see it. But you can. I don't know if they're going to place it on YouTube or anything like that, but you will be able to see it if they do that. Hopefully they'll have a flag there, because he did serve in the armed forces, and they'll do taps, and the playing of taps, and the folding of the flag, and give the flag to his wife and his family. It is quite interesting to watch people's reaction as they play taps. Most people cry, because it is quite an honor to serve in the armed forces, to have served there. I never did serve there myself, but I've done a lot of funerals for soldiers, active duty, and those who have lived long lives and retired from the military, or just served there 2 years and got out. But in each case, they are very respected and honored, and I feel that honor and respect for myself. It's a great honor to be a part of a funeral service and help a family get through these difficult times. I hope this helps. If there's any questions you have, please tweet me or contact me through Facebook or wherever you find the easiest way for you to get a hold of me, and I will be happy to answer any questions that you have. I know that President Packer was a general authority. It is a great honor to watch his service and to I've got to be a little part of his life, and even though I didn't get to meet him, I knew his wife. I met his wife, and his wife was just a wonderful woman. So, if that's a reflection of him, he was a wonderful man. I hope this helps, and have a good day. Thank you so much for listening.